Go ahead, Chris.
Everybody ready? All right. Good morning. It is May 5th, 2020. We will call the Wright County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Thank you for those in attendance, and we also have a number joining us remotely, including Commissioner Burrell. So welcome, everyone. First order of business. The minutes from 4/28. Everyone's had a chance to review those.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the April 28th minutes.
All right.
Second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Vesh, seconded by Commissioner Delano. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, we have to do a roll call.
Oh, I'm
Michael?
sorry. Every week I
Minutes,
have to be reminded.
Aye.
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 All right. Motion passes 5-0. County Board minutes from 4:30.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the April 30th minutes as
Second.
presented.
Motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Deliden. Is there any discussion on April 30th? That was reconvened from April 28th meeting. Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 All right. Motion passes 5-0. Review and approval of agenda. Is there anything that anyone needs to add today?
I have
Mr.
nothing
Kelly?
to add.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda. Second.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Deliden, seconded by Commissioner Potter. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Consent agenda. Anything that you'd like to remove for further discussion?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made by Commissioner Deliden, seconded by Commissioner Potter to approve the consent agenda. Discussion. Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 All right. Motion passes. We move on to our timed items for today, and we welcome Miss Alicia O'Hare from Water Resource Specialist, Soil and Water Conservation District.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. So I have a resolution for you regarding the South Fork One Watershed One Plan. This is being moved forward to the application process to start planning and creating the One Watershed One Plan document, and this resolution just basically gives our support to that application, which is being done by McLeod Soil and Water and the Buffalo Creek Watershed District.
All right. Does anyone have any questions about this resolution?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Potter?
Commissioner Burrell has been pretty involved in this. I'd like to hear his take on this, if
Okay.
he could offer it up.
Commissioner Burrell, did you hear
Yeah,
Commissioner
Ma-
Potter?
Yes, I did. And Madam Chair, I just did want to speak to this just real briefly, because Wright County has, we are in the North Fork Crow River Watershed District now, which has all been approved or pretty much finalized. But because of our layout of our county, we will have some water that will go to the Mississippi watershed, and then we have a small amount in the Crow, and I think it's good that we be involved in this and be part of it. I know McLeod County, that has just a little bit in Wright County, was very active in the North Fork, and they were real good partners with us. And I think it's, to reciprocate and be involved, because it's going to bring some, I'll be there for a little bit, I think, yet, but it will bring some experience as far as forming up their One Watershed, One Plan. So, but I am very supportive of it, and if you want me to make a motion, I will do that.
Okay. Sure, go ahead, Commissioner Burrell.
Okay, I just make a motion that we go ahead with the involvement in the South Fork Watershed District.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Burrell, seconded by Commissioner Potter. Any more discussion on this?
Madam Chair.
Matt, go ahead.
Go ahead, Charlie.
Oh, no, I just wanted to thank Alicia and all the people at Soil Water. Luke has just been real involved with the North Fork, And I know that, like I said, that, you know, even if I'm not here next year, we're going to have that leadership from our soil water there. It's really going to be helpful. So they worked real hard on this thing. And then one of the board members, especially, I wanted to throw a thank you out to Alicia. Helped me out.
To
Jeff Burns. I just went blank on my brain. But anyway, Jeff has just been real involved in the North Fork, and I think he will be a big help on this as well. So
he's very active.
Jeff's a
Commissioner Delight, you had a
outstanding
comment?
member.
Yeah, Alicia, where's the Buffalo Creek watershed district? Where is the majority of that? Is it McLeod or?
I think part of it's in McLeod, and part of it is, I think Scott. I'm not entirely sure. I haven't worked with them too much.
Okay, I was just kind of curious.
Sure, yeah. I think it's more to the southeast portion of the watershed.
Okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Resolution passes.
Thank
Madam
you.
Very much.
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Potter.
Alicia, correct?
Alicia.
Not Alicia, Alicia. Alicia, because there's 3 different pronunciations that's
I know.
Don't call you late to dinner, all right? Thank you.
Thanks a lot. All right, now we have Captain Patrick O'Malley from the Wright County Sheriff's Office.
Morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. How are you all today?
Good. Doing good, thank you.
Thank you for having me. May 5th, 1984, President Ronald Reagan proclaimed the first full week of May as National Correctional Officers Week. So today I'm here asking for a resolution from the board proclaiming May 3rd through the 9th, 2020 as Correctional Officers and Employee Week in Wright County. And if you're all right, I'll just read the...
Please read it, yes.
Whereas correctional officers are trained law enforcement officers, professionals dedicated to maintaining a safe correctional facility and ensuring the public safety. And whereas correctional officers are essential to the success of our criminal justice process, and whereas correctional officers' work includes daily exposure in a hostile environment with some of the most dangerous individuals in society. And whereas correctional officers and employees provide offenders with direction, hope, a new focus while assisting with re-entry and life outside corrections. And therefore, be it resolved that we, the Wright County Board of Commissioners, do hereby acknowledge the week of May 3rd through 9th, 2020 as Correctional Officers and Employee Week in honor of the dedicated professionals who serve the citizens of Wright County by supervising the county's inmate population.
Thank you, yes, I'm happy always to see this every year and to recognize the efforts because it is a very tough job. So
Thank you.
appreciate
Madam Chair,
everything you
I'll
do.
make a motion to approve the resolution proclaiming
right.
May 3rd through the 9th as Correctional Officers and Employee Week in Wright County.
I'll second
All
that.
right, motion made by Commissioner Delight and seconded by Commissioner Vetch. Is there any discussion of the resolution?
So is the sheriff going to go in there and sing and cook for everybody
I
this
think
week?
he's going to cook for everybody, but not sing.
He's
Well, I
gonna
think it'd probably,
Take-
After the lockdown.
Yeah, we'll take the food.
Yeah.
I think he's
Probably be-
mastered the plunge part thing.
probably safer for them to sing instead of cooking. Well, safer for the our residents in there.
Oh, my. All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 All right, resolution passes, and thanks
Thank
again.
you very much.
Thank you. All right, 9:08, we have Mr. Virgil Hawkins. Are you on the line?
Should be on the line.
Yes, good morning, Madam Chair and Board of Commissioners. There are 2 highway items this morning for your consideration. The first one is to approve Agreement 20-57 for the Fallon Avenue State Park Road Account Project with Monticello Township. The Township approved the agreement at their meeting on April 20th, and it outlines the responsibilities and for the project. It will be overseeing and being a financial agent for the project.
All right, and the DNR Park Road account funds pay up to almost $300,000 for construction, correct?
The grant amount was $2 $32,836.60, and that'll cover all the construction and even right-of-way acquisition. There's some easements needed on the south end of Fallon that could be some costs there, and those are eligible for the grant money also.
That's great.
Again,
Commissioner Potter.
Madam Chair, we've been fortunate on the Park Road account here in Wright County here in the last few years. It's good, and it's a good project, and with that, I'd make a motion to approve, accept the agreement.
All right.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Potter, seconded by Commissioner Lyden. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0. All right.
The second
Number
item
two.
is to concur with City of Delano award of the low bid for the Casa 30 project in Delano, and the City of Delano has taken the lead on this project, and they took bids on April 14th. The bids came in about 8% under the estimate, and the City of Delano awarded it at their board meeting on April 21st, subject to the county concurring with the award. Chad and I have looked at this, and the funding portion for us is local option sales tax money, and we concur to recommend awarding this.
With that, Madam Chair, motion to approve.
Motion
Seconded.
Motion made by Commissioner Potter, seconded by Commissioner Delano. Any discussion?
Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. With this, we know with the COVID-19, funding, the money is going to be down a little bit for this year. So it's nice when we see these projects come under estimate a little bit, because it'll make it so there's a little bit more money for next year for another local option sales tax project, which, I see, these are working out good, because if we waited for the state to help fund these, we'd be waiting forever.
Yeah, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Burrell?
Oh, I said aye already. I
Oh.
might not have heard.
There were so many ayes, I don't know.
All right. Thank you, Virgil.
Thank you.
All right, so everyone, it sounds like they're muted out there now, so we don't have the echo going on.
Chair, if the echo was going on, we know it was Virgil now.
Yeah, I figured it was him because it started with when he came on. All right, items for consideration. We're moving right along today.
We are indeed.
COVID-19.
Oh, Madam Chair's going for a record. You're going to beat the 21-minute record, I think.
Yeah, potentially. We're certainly moving right along through the agenda. It was a shorter one today, but we are down to the COVID part of the show. As you know, we have extended out our closure of facilities through the 18th, and there's still a lot going on in preparations for what we do moving forward. I know some of the major things that we are working on and modifications to the facility are not probably going to be ready until June. Is one thing. I've been made aware that jury trials in the court side are not going to be returning until after June 1st as well. So wanted to share those updates. I guess I'm anticipating, as this continues to develop on a daily basis, that we'll be discussing this at some point on our workshop next week, because we will need to make some determinations at that time if we're going to be extending past the 18th. Many of the jurisdictions I've spoken with are already planning for that to be the case. Many are doing a phased approach, such as what we are doing, putting guards in place and so on and so forth. So we're working on some of those facility-related things that we've got going. In addition, the policies are the next challenge to keep going. So,
Administrator Kelly, are you anticipating that we would take some kind of board action at the workshop when we need to go into a brief board meeting for action, or because that'll be 4 days before the expiration of the current order.
Yeah, in hindsight, I think I would have preferred to extend through Tuesday the 19th, so we could have had a board meeting and not had to schedule a special one. It does coincide with what the governor's got as far as a timeline, but we may need to make a recommendation coming out of the workshop to adopt something, so.
Madam Chair, yeah, looking at that, because even if we would extend it to the 19th or the 20th right now, it still gives us really short time if we have a board meeting, if we have to modify it or extend it or anything. You know, that's the reason you probably would be better off having a meeting at the end of next week, just if to decide if whether what the governor does again, because we're kind of bound by those.
Yeah, the governor, you know, we can choose what we decide to do, but we've definitely tied our direction moving forward based on the guidance that the governor's provided, so.
But even things from like the DMV, I mean, a lot of that stuff, whether we can't do anything until they.
Correct.
So.
That's correct, and some of our major modifications that we're trying to get done are still several weeks out related to the DMV as well, so I want to make sure that you're all aware of that piece as well, so.
What's going on, or what's being held up? I know the one thing is the window,
Correct.
but what about the sneeze guards and that sort of stuff?
Most of those have been installed. I need to get an update on the last ones. I believe we're an assessor and the DMV to get installed on that. So most of the public counters have had those installed. In addition, we've got some kind of queuing stanchions that we're going to be doing and changing the flow as planned for that end of the building when we do reopen. We're working on a drop box for the east alley so people will be able to drive through, and some plans as far as traffic and queuing outside as well, because that'll be a lot of folks potentially in that area. Have some floor graphics that we have stickers, if you will, to designate the 6-foot distances. So most of those things are either soon to be picked up and installed or already been installed. The main one we're holding out on is the exterior facing window that we're looking to modify in, so.
I don't know, Board, Administrator Kelly, I feel that it might be a good idea to schedule a board meeting for the, is that the 17th?
It's a Sunday.
Oh, let me get the
I
right.
mean, I'll happily meet on
The
a Sunday.
15th, yeah.
Sorry.
I had the wrong month here.
Like the 15th?
On May 15th, because the governor would surely make a determination, I would hope, by
He
the 14th.
does like to wait till the last minute.
Yeah. Unlike last time.
I know.
So,
And Madam Chair, and let's not forget today's announcement that he's going to do on some modifications.
okay.
Correct.
So, you know, as we go forward, it seems like if we need to cancel it, we can, but I think it would be a good idea to schedule a meeting on the 15th, and we can have some more updates and more details about what's happened with our sneeze guards or projected date for the window and that kind of thing.
Would you like to say in the morning, like a 10 o'clock, so giving staff time, if whatever comes out of it, to convey it to staff, or?
Yes, I think that'd be a good idea. You don't want to wait till afternoon. So, would you,
Madam Chair, I'll make a
Motion?
motion to set a county board meeting for Friday, May 15th at 10 a.m.
motion made by Commissioner
Second.
Gretsch, seconded by Commissioner, I'll take Potter this time. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Aye.
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 All right, motion passes 5-0. So I guess every week we get more information, so hopefully we'll take us through the next couple of weeks after that.
I think we set the record for the most county board meetings in a year, probably.
We have.
Yes, we certainly are, but Board, I do appreciate your guidance on this. I mean, we are following the governor's advice that's being put out, but ultimately the county needs to decide what we want to do and how we want to do it and open up. And certainly we want to be keeping the public as well as our staff safe and working towards that. But I think we're doing a lot of the business we're still able to do. Some of the things we are not able to do because the state systems are not allowing us to do. So
What time did we say the board meeting?
10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
Madam Chair, I just want to clarify, because I know there's a lot of people that are, that have watched or heard this stuff, because I get people emails. As a county level here, we have no control over your restaurants, your businesses opening or closing. I've gotten a number of emails of people saying, why are you following the governor's orders? I can't change the governor's orders. What I would tell you would mean nothing, and you'd still be breaking the state law, regardless if we pass some resolution or not. And the same with the statements that Administrator Kelly's making. We have discretion to open up operations within the county that the state would allow us to, because there's a number of things that we could or could not open up that even if we opened it up, we wouldn't be able to facilitate business because the state end isn't available to us. So that's where our discussion is. Yes, we do have some discretion as to open up certain windows, but there's a lot of limitations because of access to the state programs that are shut down because of this shelter-in-place order.
And our communications specialist, has done a good job of keeping the public notified by keeping things on the website or putting things on the website. And anybody that has any questions, certainly feel free to call us or a particular department to ask specifics if your questions aren't answered by going to our website.
And Madam Chair.
Commissioner Potter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's obviously Governor is not really dialed in with county board meeting day. That's why all his orders seem to be after we've had a county board meeting. Kind of goofy, but it is different on that. And just keep in mind that doing 2 weeks at a time, he doesn't have to subject himself to litigation, because all the governors that went a whole month out all went to court with that. Some won, some lost, but a month out gives the people time to file a suit. 2 weeks, not enough time. So the 2 weeks, personal opinion, I think he's going to extend it 2 more weeks after that. The way his modus operandi, the way he's going, I think he's going to do it. I don't think it's necessary, but I'm not in his position. But that's what I'm feeling. He's going to do it until just June 1st or so.
Yep, time will tell. All right.
Madam Chair?
Mr. Delano.
As long as Administrator Kelly was talking, how are our buildings going?
As far as I know, we haven't had any contractors pull off the sites. Still planning on moving forward on the timelines of opening that we had in place. So things have been good.
Madam Chair?
Potter.
I'd like to chime in on that. Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Delano, one contractor at the Justice Center did pull off for a day, and special accommodations from the Integrity Group were made to accommodate their request, and they went back on the job.
Yep.
Just to give you an update on that one.
Good. It's nice to know that thing's moving forward.
Okay, moving on. Advisory Committee, Advisory Board updates. Commissioner Potter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Library Board met last week, and like I told you, the potential for a 1.76% increase is probably closer to a 0, as we have a healthy fund reserved, and there was consensus among the board to make it so the increase will not be any different than last year. Whatever we paid last year is this year, so it should be a 0 impact, as close as possible to get. I believe we have more than enough money to do that, pull it off, and I think the smaller counties in our organization really appreciated that, because it's going to be a tough budget next year to do with what was going on this year. So that's what I got to report there is it looks like it's going to have a 0 increase from last year.
Okay, that helps.
Last week we had our CMRP meeting, basically the first time we've met in over 60 days, so a lot of things to discuss. A lot of what we're working on is we're still trying to move forward, but we're trying to decide if we need to make some different accommodations or shift in scope in trying to decide if this pandemic will have a long-lasting socioeconomic change that maybe needs to be considered in looking at this plan. So we're kind of taking a little bit of a sidestep and going to look at see if we need to maybe change some of the questioning or some of the data that we collect to account for the potential shift in how people shop and how things could be developed in the future, given this pandemic, and will it change or will it not change? I mean, a lot of it's for us unknown, but we want to kind of tap the brakes a little bit to see what happens when the smoke clears. So we're trying to be really cognizant going forward with that. We're also trying to get I know myself and the liaison team are trying to keep the group better communicated together by sending out more briefings and trying to really bullet point out what we're working on, what everybody should stay up to date on, trying to put better briefings together. We are on the Central Mississippi Regional Planning Partnership, mouthful. We do have some surveys that are on our website that we're asking people to take and fill out. So if any of you board members, we're looking for feedback on that, check out the website, answer some of those, answer that questionnaire. We'd greatly appreciate it. So moving forward.
And Madam Chair?
Commissioner Potter.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Vetch, can you make sure transportation lines are flying got moved from a couple weeks out to September? So if we can get all your questions concerned to reinforce that when I go out there on the pavement on other issues anyway, might as well have that included in it. So if we can make sure that concerns, reports, things, any documentation to throw out there, because I want to flood them with everything possible.
Yeah.
So we gotta start planting that seed because
Yeah,
as part of this group, river crossing is one of the pieces. So
Because you know the NEFA process is what we're going after, but I need a little bit of supporting documentation to help. This is why we're going to do this. So I appreciate it if you guys can get that to me.
absolutely.
Thank you.
I had the Annandale Safe Schools meeting via WebEx or Skype, can't remember which, and it was a good meeting. They, you know, they're really reaching out to students so they don't fall between the cracks, and they've provided Chromes and hotspots for a number of families, and they have their middle school students are, according to when they're talking about statewide, the engagement among students, and the statewide is about 60%, and Annandale is at 95%, so they're doing really well that way. They're looking to do something special for the seniors and for their graduation, trying to figure out how they can do that, and if it's possible. It might be at a later date, and they're also considering prom at the end of June, so whether that happens, it just depends on a lot of factors going forward. So it was a good meeting, though, and everyone is, you know, making sure the kids are getting what they need, and there's been no vaping in the school among kids. So, and we also had our Midwest Regional Forensic Lab meeting, and talked about the COVID-19 response protocols, and of course they're doing the social distancing, extra cleaning. When agencies they call ahead when they're bringing in evidence, and then they drop it off, and they have teams so they're not working on the same floors and in the same area to provide that. But actually some of the testing is down essentially about 20% due to COVID, so the casework has been lessened because of that. We talked about grants and some new hires, and they hired a 4th property room tech, so that was something that they had trouble filling, and so it was good to get that person on board. And otherwise, they continue to do a great job for us. Great service.
And Madam Chair, thank you.
Commissioner Potter.
Thank you for that. And I want to put a note that some people have had issues with four-wheelers not getting stolen and places broken into southwest part of this county, people I know, and they were amazed that there was some DNA, some touch test. They says if that was through the BCA, we wouldn't get that. Our partnership with that regional thing is why you're getting that. I says we're paying in a little bit, but you're getting results, and they're saying, okay, now I understand why we're part of that, because BCA, there's no way they do that.
They
don't
just
have the
don't
time.
really do property.
You know, and they don't do property. And when I explained it to them, I said, this is why we're in this. And they're going, okay, that makes sense. I can support that, because some of the people in parts of this county think we shouldn't be part of these things until it affects them, and then all of a sudden, oh, that's why we're part of this now. Good. So hats off to for them, for us, explaining why we're part of that regional forensic partnership here and the benefits we get from it, and our citizens get from it.
Yeah, thank you. Commissioner Leiden?
On Tuesday last week, I went to the Board of Appeals for St. Michael. That all went pretty well. The way it sounds, it doesn't like we'll have any being forwarded from St. Michael.
Oh, good.
And then Commissioner Hewsome and I, along with the negotiations teams, met to deal with the new union for the correction officers and the communications. And I think we've come up with a negotiated contract, so that's our last contract to get closed for the year.
Yeah.
So that sounds good, and hopefully we'll be getting that done with.
Yep.
Everybody will be fine till 2022.
Yep. Good.
Great success. I think that might be a record timing for close to.
I don't know. I think it went a little bit longer.
It went longer, or later into the year because we started later.
Yeah.
Because of the class and comp study, we got that a little
Usually,
later than
it
we
seems like
had hoped.
historically, at least over the last 10 years, there's always been some that have been hanging out, one or two that have been hanging out for a lot longer, so.
I think 6 years ago, we had one that was,
Quite a bit longer, yes.
But that's about it.
Administrator Kelly, anything else to, yeah.
Yeah, just two things. I'm having an email exchange back and forth with Dwayne Northagen at the Economic Development Partnership. He was wondering, had reached out to staff to get our feel on, they're looking at doing a loan program specific to coronavirus. He'd be coming forward to the board here for formal adoption, but generally they'd be smaller $5,000 loans, 0% interest with a 6-month deferred repayment. So I guess today I'm really just bringing it up. Unless there's any strong objections, I'll tell them to move forward and putting something together. So I just think it's another great tool to help our Wright County businesses if we can right now in this time. So I want to make you aware of that, and I'll relay that back to Dwayne. And of course, as Mr. Potter mentioned, the governor is going to be announcing today statements on the budget. So tune in and see where that's gone, as there was a surplus, and now I'm expecting there's going to be a deficit. So.
Yep. All right. Any other business to come before the board?
Forgot about Charlie.
Charlie, I'm sorry, Charlie. Someone, are you the one that has your mute off?
No, I did not have anything, Madam Chair.
You did not, okay. Great. If there's no other business, we are adjourned at 9:33, and we do have a committee of the whole at 10:30.